Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. Again, I pray that you are staying safe and you are staying healthy and staying inside. Before we get started with this week's topics, let's go ahead and get started with Viewers Corner.
My word for 2020 is push. I picked this word because I knew that if I continued to push myself towards the things that I valued and towards the things that I loved, that I would see a positive outcome as far as reaching some of the goals and the dreams that I set for myself. So I continue to encourage everyone out there, even in the midst of what's going on, to continue to push yourself and continue to dream big and make sure that you are achieving those goals and those dreams.
Thanks for sharing with us, Tinny. I really pray that in 2020 you can truly push. Shifting over into our topic for Weekly Words this week, we're going to continue honoring National Poetry Month. And this week we're going to talk about another one of my poems called Rooftop Symphony, which can also be found in my book, Behind the Smile. So just like last time, I'm going to read the poem and then kind of talk about the meaning afterwards. So let's get started with Rooftop Symphony. Rooftop Symphony. Inhale. My mind races as I watch fire dance over a dried flower mixture, turning it into a gas that penetrates my lungs and begins to stimulate my brain cells. Exhale. My thoughts become smoke, floating above my head and form humanoid figures moving to a distant melody. Life. They move with a contained freedom. Some are dancing, some are singing, but the ones I find most intriguing have instruments. Instruments handcrafted to fit between the cracks of their fingers and produce a unique sound that only the breath between their lips can create. I envy them. They live a life full of passion and purpose. No conductor. Inhale. See, success is my conductor. I am just another musician in the orchestra following his instructions. I try staying on his beat, but my heart has one of its own. I try following his rhythm, but my life has a path of its own. Exhale. My goals become smoke, floating above my head and form a humanoid figure playing a heart-rendering melody. It's me. I've found my instrument, the one life welded for me to play and complete the unsung song of my purpose. I play with the balance of freedom, happiness, and success. My sound impacts those around me, and they are empowered to reach their goals. I am no longer forced to play at the instruction of another. I am my own success. I am my own conductor. So one of the reasons I really like this poem is because I think it's a good reflection of where a lot of us currently are or where we have been in our lives. So at the beginning of this poem, the speaker, he is in a place where he's reminiscing back on his life and he's thinking about the lives of others, and he's envying the people that he sees who are able to live their life and achieve their dreams and their goals and have found their purpose, right? They are moving to their own beat. And the reason he envies them is because he realizes that while they're enjoying music freely to how they want to enjoy it, the way he's living his life, the way he's enjoying his music is by the conductor called success. And he's realizing that this success is how society labels success, saying that we have to have a certain job, we have to have a certain education, we have to make a certain amount of money, have a certain type of house, have a certain type of relationship. And he feels contained because he's like, hey, this isn't the path for me. Like, this isn't how my heart is beating. And I like that towards the end of the poem, he actually has this revelation where he can see how he can reach his own dreams and have his own goals. And in here, you know, he speaks about how the instrument is figurative of each person's purpose, because the poem mentions how the instrument can only be played by fitting into the cracks of that person's hand and by the breath in their lungs, right? And towards the end of the poem, he realizes what that is for him. And he realizes that if he, instead of him trying to live out success the way that the society describes it, but if he actually has success being his own dreams, his own goals, his own aspirations, his own fulfillment, success is a part of that. And as he walks in that, he empowers and encourages those around him so that he isn't just walking alone, but they're walking with him. And I think that's so powerful. I think it's so important for each of us to realize that we each have our own instrument. And the instrument is figurative of what our purpose is. And the speaker realized that here in this poem. And so I want to encourage everybody, wherever you are in life, don't be discouraged when you see other people playing their instrument and walking in their purpose, because that's their sound. That's their instrument. We all have our own. And we don't have to follow what society says about having a certain education and having a certain job and a certain relationship. Like I've mentioned before, we all have our different paths and different experiences at different times in our life. Nobody's ahead of anybody else. We're all just on different paths. So be encouraged that God has an instrument that is for you to play, that's going to be you living out your purpose and your destiny, and that you don't have to worry about what other people are doing. So I encourage you to find what your instrument is and find your rooftop where you can play your symphony for the world to hear, and know that it's not about fame and it's not about money, but it's about your fulfillment and your joy and your dream. Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. I pray that you thoroughly enjoyed it and got something positive from it. If you have any questions, suggestions, or you want to be featured on Viewers Corner, feel free to email me at weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Again, that's weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Please be sure to check out the next episode of Weekly Words Extended Podcast, airing on March 27th, anywhere that you stream your podcasts. And again, our next episode of Weekly Words will be back in 2 weeks. I hope you have a good time. Until then, stay blessed.